The Jewish public have a long and vivid history. They are the wellspring of the absolute most prominent speculation ever, strict and logical. They have endured numerous adversities and have been the reason for a couple too. They have been focal figures in a significant part of the distress in the Center East, where the country of Israel was made by the United Nations in the 20th century. This is a rundown of the best Jews, the individuals who have, for positive or negative, impacted the world. David Ben-Gurion was the primary Prime Minister of Israel. Ben-Gurion's enthusiasm for Zionism, which started right off the bat throughout everyday life, finished in his instrumental function in the establishing of the territory of Israel. Subsequent to driving Israel to triumph in the 1948 Arab-Israeli War, Ben-Gurion helped manufacture the state foundations and directed the assimilation of tremendous quantities of Jews from everywhere the world. After resigning from political life in 1970, he moved to Sde Boker, where he lived until his passing. After death, Ben-Gurion was named one of Time magazine's 100 most important people of the century. Niels Henrik David Bohr was a Danish physicist who made basic commitments to understanding nuclear structure and quantum mechanics, for which he got the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1922. Bohr tutored and worked together with a considerable lot of the top physicists of the century at his organization in Copenhagen. He was additionally essential for the group of physicists taking a shot at the Manhattan Project. Bohr wedded Margrethe Norland in 1912, and one of their children, Åge Niels Bohr, grew up to be a significant physicist who, similar to his dad, gotten the Nobel Prize, in 1975. Bohr has been portrayed as one of the most compelling physicists of the 20th century. Gustav Mahler was an arranger and conductor, conceived in Bohemia, previously part of the Austrian Empire, at present situated in the Czech Republic, and distinguished for an incredible duration as a German-speaking Austrian. Mahler was most popular during his own lifetime as one of the main instrumental and operatic conductors of the day. He has since come to be recognized as among the most significant late sentimental authors, despite the fact that his music was never totally acknowledged by the Melodic Foundation of Vienna while he was as yet alive. Mahler formed principally ensembles and tunes, be that as it may, his way to deal with kind regularly obscured the lines between instrumental tune, orchestra, and musical sonnet. Baruch or Benedict de Spinoza was a Dutch rationalist of Portuguese Jewish inception. Uncovering significant logical fitness, the expansiveness and significance of Spinoza's work was not completely acknowledged until years after his passing. Today, he is viewed as one of the extraordinary realists of 17th century reasoning, laying the foundation for the 18th century Enlightenment and present-day scriptural analysis. By temperance of his showstopper, The After-Death Ethics, wherein he contradicted Descartes' brain-body dualism, Spinoza is viewed as one of Western way of thinking's most significant rationalists. Sigmund Freud, conceived Sigismund Shlomo Freud, was an Austrian therapist who established the psychoanalytic school of brain science. Freud is most popular for his hypotheses of the oblivious brain and the guard system of restraint, and for making the clinical act of therapy for relieving psychopathology through discourse between a patient and a psychoanalyst. Freud is additionally prestigious for his redefinition of sexual want as the essential inspirational energy of human life, just as his helpful procedures, including the utilization of free affiliation, his hypothesis of transaction in the remedial relationship, and the translation of dreams as well springs of knowledge into oblivious wants. Moses Maimonides, otherwise called the Rambam, was a rabbi, doctor, and rationalist in Spain, Morocco and Egypt during the Middle Ages. He was the superior middle-aged Jewish logician whose thoughts additionally impacted the non-Jewish world. One of the focal fundamentals of Maimonides' way of thinking is that it is unimaginable for the facts shown up at by human keenness to negate those uncovered by God. Despite the fact that his overflowing chips away at Jewish law and morals were at first met with resistance during his lifetime, he was after death recognized to be one of the premier rabbinical judges and rationalists in Jewish history. Today, his works and his perspectives are viewed as a foundation of Jewish idea and study. Einstein was a German-conceived hypothetical physicist. He is most popular for his hypothesis of relativity and explicitly mass-energy identicalness, E equals mc superscript 2, the most well-known condition of the 20th century. Einstein got the 1921 Nobel Prize in Physics for his administrations to theoretical physics, and particularly for his disclosure of the law of the photoelectric impact. Einstein distributed more than 300 logical works and more than 150 non-logical works. Einstein is loved by the Material Science Network, and in 1999 Time magazine named him the individual of the century. In more extensive culture, the name Einstein has gotten inseparable from virtuoso. Jewish, Christian and Muslim conventions see Abraham as the establishing patriarch of the Israelites, Ishmaelites, and Edomite people groups. He is generally viewed as the patriarch of Judaism and monotheism. Abraham signifies High Father, originating from the Aramaic words Abarama. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam are here and there alluded to as the Abrahamic religions, as a result of the ancestor job Abraham plays in their blessed books. As per Genesis, Abraham was brought by God from Mesopotamia to the place that is known for Canaan. There Abraham went into a pledge, in return for sole acknowledgement of God as preeminent general God and authority, Abraham will be honored with incalculable offspring. Moses is a biblical Hebrew strict pioneer, lawgiver, a Levite, prophet, and military pioneer, who composed the Torah. He is the most significant prophet in Judaism. As indicated by the book of Exodus, Moses was destined to a Hebrew mother, Jochebed, who concealed him when a pharaoh requested all infant Hebrew young men to be slaughtered, and he wound up being received into the Egyptian imperial family. In the wake of slaughtering an Egyptian slave driver, Moses fled and turned into a shepherd, and was later told by God to convey the Hebrews from subjugation. After the 10 plagues were released on Egypt, he drove the Hebrew slaves out of Egypt, through the Red Sea, where they meandered in the desert for a very long time, during which time, as indicated by the Bible, Moses got the 10 Commandments. Jesus of Nazareth is the establishing figure of Christianity, and Christianity is the religion that molded Europe, and a significant part of the world as an outcome. As the biggest religion on the planet, there is no uncertainty that Christianity is as yet having an effect right up till today. The chief well springs of data with respect to Jesus' life and lessons are the 4 sanctioned accounts. Most basic researchers in the fields of history and scriptural investigations accept that antiquated writings on Jesus' life are at any rate incompletely precise, concurring that Jesus was a Galilean Jew who was viewed as an educator and healer. They likewise for the most part acknowledge that he was sanctified through water by John the Baptist, and was killed in Jerusalem on requests of the Roman prefect of Judea Pontius Pilate, on the charge of rebellion against the Roman Empire.